that are affected by this incident today. These are difficult incidents that deputies have to deal with, families have to deal with, especially when we're talking about dealing with children. So I will confirm at this time that a 6-year-old child has passed away at the hospital in reference to this boat accident. I'm going to go through some details, but please allow us some patience for us and for the family as they deal with the situation. So this incident started around 11 a.m. when the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office got a 911 call in reference to a boat accident. We have preliminary details that tell us that about approximately 12 people are on a wakeboard type boat. They got here around 7 a.m., 2 families, and they're out in different areas of the lake. 15-20 minutes, they do a little wakeboarding, they do a little swimming, everything. This is happening 2 or 3 times, and 11 o'clock is when this tragedy occurs. It's our understanding right now the boat operator goes to go forward with someone who's already ready to go wakeboarding, and they run over this little girl. There is no impairment at this time. We have investigators who went to the hospital and checked for signs. Although this is an ongoing investigation at this time, we don't see any signs of impairment as of right now. We're going to call this a tragic accident, if anything, and contributing factors that may have led to this incident is a lot of people on the boat. We have detectives currently right now with the boat, processing the boat, looking for safety measures that were in place, that were not in place. But at this time, it looks like all life jackets are there, fire extinguishers, things that need to be on the boat were on the boat. It's our information right now that the owners of the boat are experienced boaters. Once again, leading us to believe at this point in the investigation that this is absolutely a tragic accident of what happened. After some preliminary interviews, we do understand that what may have led to this is maybe they lost track of who was on the boat and who was not on the boat, just because they were in different locations at the time swimming and then wakeboarding and then vice versa. And at this time when the boat went forward, we do believe that the child was struck by the boat, ran over, and eventually got a prop cut to her leg. They called 911, obviously because of the area. They were at Paul's Cove. Paul's Hideaway is where they were at in the location here, Lake Pleasant. Very hard to get reception. As our understanding, some boaters came, helped them out. They loaded the child onto the boat and drove her over to the Pleasant Harbor Marina where the Peoria Fire Department was standing by on scene to treat the child. Child was then transported to a local hospital where she passed away. It's our understanding the fire department has rolled out resources for the family in this situation, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office has also rolled a crisis team for the deputies responding to this initial incident dealing with the little girl. At this time, we'll take some questions.
Sergeant Enriquez, you kind of mentioned that the dynamic there with family and friends. So is it safe to say that the child and the operator of the boat, family, friends, directly related? What do we know about that relationship?
They're directly related right now, I could tell you that. More details will come out as soon as we get more information. But at the time, we're being very considerate of the family right now going through this. I will reiterate, nothing leads us to believe that there was any foul play, that there was any alcohol involved. We're just dealing with a lot of kids, a lot of adults, one boat, but they are related, yes.
All of them or most of them?
There's 2 families. I know that the victims and the boat operators are related.
Okay. Were the parents on the same boat during the accident?
That is correct. The parents were on the boat at the time.
Are they Arizona locals?
It's my understanding they do live here, not too far from here. And like I said before, they are experienced boaters. They come out here. So it's, is it any different from, having a party at a house and losing track of your kids? It's the same thing. It's hot. This lake is very busy. We're dealing with a lot of different incidents, which leads us to believe, once again, the advice here is if you're going to come out here, have a plan, designate maybe a parent per child. Just last week we had a drowning of a 25-year-old. The people just coming out here. Nobody comes out here and expects to have a tragedy. That's why it's so important that we have a plan when you're coming out here to have fun, to recreate. We want everybody to have fun, but we want it to be safe.
And this child, you said she was wearing a life jacket. Was there another flotation device that she was on in the water, or she was just swimming in front of the boat?
No, at this time, the information we have is all the children have their lifeboats. There is no safety violations that we see just on face level right now. So they're all wearing their life vest. She was wearing her life vest at the time of the accident as well.
And the driver, I'm sorry. You're fine. And the driver of this boat, sometimes when people are wakeboarding, they look behind and check to see if they're ready before they look forward. Do we have any indication that the boat was so big they didn't see the child, or they were looking behind?
It's my understanding there was some communication where the operator of the boat thought everybody was already in the boat except for the person that was about to start wakeboarding, which is understandable. All the safety regulations and measurements were in place. So we're talking miscommunication. We're talking a tragic accident here.
Just reiterate what you said earlier. So there's a prop cut on the leg. Is that correct?
That is correct. That was the initial response for the fire department. She had a prop cut in her leg, pretty much amputated at the time of the prop cut.
What's it like for your department and all other first responders that have to respond to something like that?
All these situations where there's loss of life, it's going to be hard, but these are extremely hard when you're dealing with children, and even harder when it's a tragic accident. When you see neglect, when you see, people are operating the boat under the influence, a little bit different circumstance. That's not what we're dealing with here. So it's even harder for the deputies that respond. They give first aid to the victim here. So it's very hard on them. That's why we have the crisis team come out, talk to them, make sure they're okay. But unfortunately, these Lake Patrol deputies, they've been out here for a long time, patrolling these different lakes, and they deal with tragedy pretty much every other weekend, which is unfortunate. That's what we're trying to get a message out there for safety. But the office does what they can to give them the resources they need.
Do you know how many crews responded? I know we saw Pure Fire was here. How many your deputies responded as well?
Yeah, we have at least a dozen deputies on scene right now because this is no different from any other investigation that occurs on ground. We need people at the hospital. We need people with the family. We need people right now who are processing two scenes, the boat and where the child was dropped off. So very manpower intensive when a situation like this happens, but the detectives we have are very knowledgeable in what they do. They've been doing this for years and years, and I'm confident as the investigation goes on, we'll be able to release more information for you guys.
Anything else we should have asked?
No, I just want to reiterate how important the safety measurements, and like in this case, even if you have all your life jackets, even if there's no drinking, we still have to be very careful and be accountable for all the children. Like I said, make a plan, designate an adult per child here. I do have information that there was about 6 adults on this boat and maybe like 6 children. So I mean, that's 1 child per adult. So let's do what we can to have fun, but at the same time, just be safe when you come out to any of our lakes here in Maricopa County.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Check you got photos you'll email out, or?
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys. It's just it's 2 photos of the actual boat that was involved.